Hey everyone, I'm Devin from Devin Talks Tabletop. I'm your friendly neighborhood board gamer, and this is the series in which what I say doesn't matter, the games are made up, I've got all that in reverse, but honestly, I'm a little bit flustered. As you can see, there's games all over the place, there's laptops, there's extra cams set up, and that's because we just finished playing Cyberpunk Gangs of Night City. It is the board game adaptation from CMON, and they're doing it in collaboration with CD Projekt Red. We just got done on TTS playing through the tutorial, and I gotta say, I'm already a fan of CD Projekt Red. I love The Witcher. I have been excited to jump into Cyberpunk, the video game, and yes, it had, a rough start, rocky road at the beginning there, but just like many games that go through a lot of additional development by a caring studio, it's elevated itself from where it was, and also they're just the kind of studio that have my backing. And so I was very curious about what this would look like as a board game, and I was interested to see. Had the pleasure of playing alongside with and under the observation of two of the designers. So this is coming from a quartet of designers, Eric Lang and then also Alexio Schneeberger. They were not there. We actually played with two Italian designers. It was Rugerfred Sedda and then also Andrea Chiarvesio. The two of them were so wonderful. They were so polite, wonderfully endearing, and so welcoming into the experience of their game design. And we played the tutorial. So once you get the game, and once you learn more about the game, you'll see that there are story elements that are woven into the tapestry of what you're doing on the board, and those have particular triggers that advance the narrative and particular elements in which players have to activate certain parts of the story. And so it's a kind of an evolving narrative that emerges as you play. We didn't do any of that, and I'm excited a little bit about that, a little bit bummed, a little bit excited, because that means that the more I don't see, the more I get to explore for myself as a player when I have this on the table in front of me. The part that we did do was a very well curated tutorial. And I think that for a game like this, the tutorial is crucial because you want it to do several things. You want it to engage the player, you want it to encourage them to play more, and you want it to give them a basic understanding of everything that you want to do. And this tutorial does that. I thought it was one of the cleanest playthroughs on TTS I've ever done, and it left me wanting more, which is, it's perfect. It's the right attitude that you want to leave a player with when they're working not off the physical board, or if they are on the physical board and they're just open it for the first time and they're trying to figure out what's going on. So this tutorial was absent of any story, which is natural to what they're trying to do. They're trying to segment out your experience at the beginning to where you're just focused on how to play. And what that does is it gives everybody 2 or 3 rounds in which they're able to cycle through actions and refresh their actions, which let me give you a little bit of an explanation of what's going on in Cyberpunk, the board game. So in this experience, you have different actions that you select. You have a physical board space that you're going to be navigating on. So it kind of draws from several different genres like area control, worker placement, but it has got this limited action selection system for each player. On your turn, you can pick 1 or 2 actions from the row of actions that you've got above, and once you decide that you don't want to do any more of the actions available, or once you've spent all of your actions and you can't do any more, then the next thing you need to do is you need to kind of reclaim. And on that turn, when you reclaim, you get all of your actions back. You can deploy new units based off of the hideouts that you have, and then in addition to that, you get some bonuses based off of the presence and domination of where you're at on the board. And those are going to be resources, points, things that you'll need to spend other stuff. So you have basic units. You're set up amongst net runners, who are the people that are going to be interfacing with the digital side of the world. You have the techies, who are going to be going to different locations, recruiting new edge runners, and then also getting contracts or opportunities within the city that you're going to seize upon. And then the next thing you're going to do with them is they're the ones that kind of control and help move around drones, which can add into combat and help you not lose major units on the board, which is helpful if you can't ever get them back until you reclaim. So if you're trying to keep them safe during the action phase, you need drones out. And then the final one of the three main types of people are your solo units. And what they are is they're designated to initiate combats. On each turn, you'll move them to adjacent locations, any number of that type, either solo, edge runner, or techie. And then after that, you'll activate their specific things. You'll either use the points of interest with a techie to get an opportunity or to try to recruit a new edge runner. You'll use the netrunner's ability to go into like the network and pass through that, and you do two different things in there. You advance based off the number of netrunners you have out, and then wherever you land, you get to resolve that ability. But then you also have to roll a dice, which is going to determine if you get caught and kicked out or if you're able to stay within that networking run. So if you're able to net run consistently without getting kicked out, you get further and further down this track that gives you more progressive abilities and points. And then whenever you do solo, you activate them, you move them around, and you initiate combat, which is a very punchy experience where you have these combat cards. Everybody has a maximum of 4 cards, and you can upgrade them. It's one of the actions that's available, but when you upgrade them, you have to discard down to 4. So you get a chance to look at some new ones, you pick one of the new ones, and then you lose one of your old ones. And that process is really interesting because it means no one can ever get a combat advantage just by number of cards, but it does mean that you start to build this deck of combat, and all of them are brutal. They're really punchy. Every one of them feels so strong that in the instinct or in the context of when you use that, it feels overpowered. But everybody else has different cards that work in different contexts, and those feel overpowered in their own right. So it balances itself while also feeling very rewarding and satisfying for the players whenever you're able to achieve maybe also the modifier level and then also the street cred. Because that's the whole point of the game, is increasing your street cred. If you have more street cred, you're the better gang in Night City. So it's got these 4 asymmetric factions. They all play differently. One of them is very combat heavy. One of them is very tech focused. One of them is very netrunner focused. And then the other one is kind of a blend, and they're not necessarily focusing on any one of those 3 main strong suits, but they're very good at retaliation, and they're a strong, balanced group in their own right, just with a different nuance into how they interact with the gameplay mechanics. I'm excited about this because as soon as we got done with the tutorial, I was like, all right, let's run it back. Let's play another one. And obviously we couldn't at the time explore what happened with the stories because those modules are not available right now, but they're going to be a part of the game, and there's going to be some in, whatever existing, it's CMON. So, there's bound to be a number of expansions for this. This game is going to grow outside of whatever just a core box experience is. And I'm assuming that, like a lot of stuff like Marvel United and like Marvel Zombies, that there's going to be some stuff that's available at retail, but it's going to be, I'm assuming, the core box. And then I'm excited to see all of the extra stuff and what they integrate in this, because I am such a fan of video games and role-playing games, and so Cyberpunk 2077 is a role-playing video game. It's an RPG video game experience, just like Skyrim or The Witcher, which is also by CD Projekt Red. And I'm very curious to look at how this explores more of that world within the confines of all of the content they've created for the video game. Definitely a compelling first experience. Like I said, I need to go soon. I need to get ready to go on a flight, but I just wanted to film this so that I could get something out there to where whenever we're allowed to talk about this, you can hear me talking about it because I'm excited about it. So this was CD Projekt Red and CMON's collaboration for Cyberpunk 2077, Gangs of Night City. I cannot wait to jump into this. Massive shout out to Rugerfred and Andrea for taking the time to play with us. I had a blast. You guys are wonderful people, and I'm really impressed by what the 4 designers collaborated on and came up with. Can't wait to see more. So tentative first impressions based off of a tutorial play. Really interested to see what comes next. All right, I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for being here, and let me know your thoughts. Is this something that you're interested in? Go ahead and comment, and I'll get to it. So, all right, I'll see you guys later. Bye.